May I welcome you to this presentation around some small suggestions which St Margaret's is offering our patients and their loved ones when they're not able to say their final goodbyes in ways they would so much have wanted to do. But before we move on to those suggestions, I'd like to say a few words about the significance of endings in our lives and also around funeral care at this present time. Endings are part of who we are. They're natural, they're part of our rhythm of human experience. They may be awkward, they may be painful, but if, as John O'Donoghue expresses, they can have a sense of wholesomeness and authenticity, they may also prepare the person gently to move forward into the future. Inherent in endings being wholesome and authentic is the opportunity for things like ritual, touch and tears, gatherings and celebrations. And many people are being denied many of these things during COVID-19. It's true to say that this is not only around death. The social scientists are already writing about the way people are being denied celebrations for graduations or weddings or family anniversaries. About funeral care, the short answer is the very best person to advise on any aspect of funeral care during COVID is the family's funeral director. Things are changing week by week. They change over the county. They are different between funeral directors. And for example, the 4 crematoria in Somerset, they allow slightly different things, and funeral directors themselves are putting in place slightly different offerings and arrangements for their families. And this is the guidance from St Margaret's at this time. It's true to say that funeral directors, clergy and celebrants are trying their hardest to be creative and compassionate. I think it's true to say that they themselves are finding it very difficult at the moment. They're not able to offer the service that they so much want to do to those who come to them. And here St Margaret's is offering 3 other small things. Encouragement to families to share symbols of connection. As an example of symbols of connection, we're offering small knitted love hearts and some ideas for what a family or an individual might do at home on the day of a funeral they can't attend. Small symbols of connection, and they can be anything that are precious to the people involved. They can link loved ones wherever they are. If, for example, a husband or wife has to go to hospital, and they can take with them some small thing from the family home, and the partner who is left behind, they can identify some small thing which will be their symbol of connection. It can be a powerful bond. And if the symbol can be something that can be placed in a coffin, it can be a bond, if they wish, that can carry them through death. St Margaret's volunteers and staff are busy knitting and stuffing little love hearts of all different colours, and we're currently offering them to families across the county. And then we move on to ideas for at home on the day of a funeral you can't attend. At St Margaret's we're providing these as Word documents to encourage families to bring in their own photographs and words and readings, just as they would put thought and love into a planning and order of service at the crematorium or at a church. And then what they put together can be something to take them forward into the future, to remember the day that even though they couldn't be there, they have that symbol, that collection of readings and pictures that they put together themselves for that special day of the funeral. And we're offering 3 versions of the Word documents. Version 1 is secular or humanist. In other words, it doesn't include any Christian or other faith content. Version 2 has some Christian content, and version 3 is Christian. And for clarity, I've kept the same format of all 3 examples. So some ideas for settling and preparing at the beginning, then a reading or poem, some words of thanksgiving, however they would like to express that. It could be in some formal words, but it could also be words they write themselves, followed perhaps by a poem or a prayer, and then finishing with some concluding words or the way they would like to say their farewell. And I've finished at the end with just an idea how to close at the end of their readings. Following versions 1 and 2, I've included some additional examples of readings, just really to ring the changes. So version 1, at home on the day of a funeral you can't attend. Remembering in love, and the person's name could be added. A picture, photograph, replace the flower. And then, before you find a place to sit quietly, you might like to find a photo of the person who has died, write down some special memories, hold or play something, play a piece of music that connects you with the person you're holding in your heart today. Then take a moment to be still. The first poem I've included here, Something Beautiful Remains, is one that we include with our remembrance gatherings on Sunday afternoons at St Margaret's and has proved popular. Then following some words of thanksgiving. I've written these words, they're not anything particularly formal. It's just an example of encouraging people to write their own words that come to their heart. Don't always have to open a book or go to the web. Actually, write them from your heart. And then the reading, Safe in Our Hearts. Again, it's one I've found is popular. So we come to the words of farewell. These words were given to me by a local humanist celebrant, words that they include at the end of a service. And then, after the readings, the person might like to just sit quietly, play a piece of music, or add any of their own thoughts or readings or words. Whatever it is that makes it right for them and right for the person they are remembering. I've included 2 alternative readings here, words by the prophet Khalil Gibran, just some extracts from his readings, and then We Let You Go. I use these words sometimes in place of the committal at a crematorium because they're words that people can join in. We let you go. We let you go. We let you go. We love you. We miss you. We want you to be happy. Go safely. Go gently. Go peacefully home. We come to version 2. The format is the same, so remembering in love, the name of the person can be added, a photograph in place of the flower if they wish, and then the suggestions for gathering as before, just to still and connect and be there with the person they're remembering. I've included the words of the prophet here in the body of this one, and also the John O'Donoghue poem again. Same words of thanksgiving, just quite informal words that I've written. Whoever is putting this together could write their own words, or they might prefer to find some words from the web or from a book or something somebody else has suggested to them. This version 2 has some Christian content, so I've included Psalm 121. And the Lord's Prayer. And in the words of farewell, in the last sentence, I've adapted slightly, and may God enfold you in his love and peace for all time. As an alternative, I've included this passage from St. Paul's letter to the Corinthians from the Bible about love. Sometimes people have had this reading at their wedding, and this binds their remembering of their wedding to this sad, painful day of their funeral, but it's a bond. We can move on now to version 3. Version 3 is Christian. The gathering suggestions are all the same, and I've added, and if you'd like to, you'd light a candle. Quite common in Christian customs to have a candle. They might like to do that. And then I've included a prayer at the beginning. For funeral services in church, this passage from St. John's Gospel is quite often heard. A suggestion here, any other Bible passage could be substituted. And I've included Psalm 23 as an example. But there are many Bible passages that are favourites, and families can choose their own, include their own. Prayer of Thanksgiving is a little bit more formal, but basically not too dissimilar from the previous ones. I've included the Lord's Prayer. And then, for the end, some words from one of the prayers which is sometimes used at the end of the Christian funeral service. Again, People could use other prayers, other readings, additional versions, anything that they would like to put in for their loved one, their memories. This is theirs. These are suggestions only. And so, as I've suggested that those who are using these readings might sit quietly at the end, let us now just take a moment of pause ourselves to sit and remember those who during this time of COVID-19 are not able to say goodbye to their loved ones in the way they so much wanted to do.